All right. What do we got in the news? Something uplifting,
Uh,
I'm sure.
yeah, well, how do you feel about a small armored dinosaur the size of a cat?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, okay,
I
good.
do.
Then it's uplifting. So this fossil was discovered in South America. It's from the Cretaceous, and it's the first of its kind. No other dinosaur fossils of this. It's a new species basically
Right,
has been
right. Yeah.
discovered, and it's a species that's pretty unlike most other species of the time. So it's called Jakapil kaniukura. And it was well protected, quote, with rows of bony disc-shaped armor along its neck, back, and tail. And it measured about 5 feet long and weighed only 9 to 15 pounds. Love that.
I want a lap dinosaur.
Right? You know, I it upsets me sometimes to think of all the animals that have existed on this planet that that we will just never get to see because I want when I die, I don't care if, God sends me to hell because I was gay. Like it's a fair cop, I get it.
Mhm.
But before he does that, I want to wander through his museum of all the animals that ever lived and just look at them. Wander through the zoo, just
They
tap
kind
on their
of
enclosures.
they kind of had that in the redone Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. They had like
Oh
the Hall of
yeah.
Extinct Species where he was sort of like walking through the computer generated Hall of Extinct Species.
Sure. Yeah, well, I want that. I want that for me. I want
So
us to discover time travel and possibly risk unraveling the fabric of space and time and obliterating the universe. Small risk to pay for going
right.
back in time and looking at all the critters.
Like the sound of thunder, but not for hunting, more like a petting zoo.
Exactly. Exactly. You understand. You get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. So I always think this about dinosaurs because and I know a lot of people think this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway because maybe you haven't thought it for a while. In evolution, is getting smarter something that would happen to anything with more time? Because I'm
Hmm.
just like, would we have dinosaurs driving cars today?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Think about it, right? The evolutionary success of a species is basically how long that species lasts, right? So how long have sharks been around? Hundreds of millions of years. Long, long, long time.
Right.
How long did most of the dinosaurs exist? How long, like sauropods? How long were sauropods around? I think like 50 million years. Long, long time. How long have we been around? Less than a million.
Right.
Significantly less. So like, and how much longer are we going to continue to last? Are we going to make it to 1 million years? Because that would mean we would need to continue. At this point, here we are, industrialized with nuclear weapons, all that this kind of thing. We would need to last for another 500,000 years.
Right.
Does
Which
anyone
isn't
think
it?
that's going to happen? Like, no.
I'm pulling this number from the ether, but isn't it that we've been humans basically in human form, this form that we see today, for about 250,000 years?
Yeah, well, actually, I was looking this up the other day because it's wild, and
I realize there's varying.
right, it's really tricky because there are so many like it's evolution, right? It's gradual, so it's like yeah, you go back 200,000 years, and it's like yeah, that's probably about when we were in our current form. But if you go back another 100,000 years, well, that's real tempting because you're still dealing with things that are basically human. You're still dealing with primates that are just about as smart as we are, that have hopes, that have dreams, that have societies, that have all this stuff. So it's like, is our humanity really in just like the shape of our skulls?
Right.
Because if we're talking about things that were sapient in the same way that we are, well, you could extend it out, many hundreds of thousands of years past that. But in any case, you really can't go beyond a million, right?
Right,
Because
right.
before that, you really are just dealing with, it's
Varying
so
degrees
slow
of
that it
human.
blends.
Right.
Exactly. And eventually you're like, well, at this point, the capabilities aren't any greater than, that of an ape. So,
Right. I got in this argument with a hippie at the bar one time, not too long ago. And this person was like telling me about like a macrobiotic diet. And they're just all like,
that sounds like a very Ashland experience to get
uh,
into an argument about a macrobiotic
oh,
diet with a
yeah,
hippie
it
at a
is.
bar.
It is. Um, and they were basically trying to tell me, yeah, macrobiotic diet, like before humans had fire and cooked their food. And I tried to tell them that that point never existed, that humans didn't discover
Yeah,
fire and start cooking their food because they had already discovered fire and started cooking their food prior to being human. And
right. Yeah.
they were not
They
having
didn't love that. Yeah. No,
it.
that's unsurprising. Oh boy. I mean, the diet people don't get me started, but
Okay. Well, either way, we all agree totally all about the lap chicken, the armored
yeah.
lap chicken. Uh, very cute.
My
Anything
point
that
was
reminds me of
that,
my cat.
yeah, intelligence, maybe not the asset we think it is, speaking in strictly like our species will be around the longest terms.
Right, right. Because,
So,
the flip side of that is that evolution solely just exploits a loophole, you know, um,
right.
but which, obviously is the case that here's a loophole, here's a food loophole, it exploits it, it blah, 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 it grows into it. But, if there's also like this sort of computer argument of building systems upon systems. And as you adapt and change more, are you inevitably building systems upon systems? Because we have a lot of the information within us that previous species that led up to us have, at least on
Sure.
a DNA
Yeah.
level and stuff like that. So I always wonder, would there be some society of dinosaurs, and would they be stupid?
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, who knows? Because like corvids, dinosaur descendant, very smart. So, you know,
Wait, what are you saying?
it's
What's a dinosaur?
corvids like crows, ravens,
Oh, right,
or
right, right.
magpies. Yeah, are extremely intelligent.
They're also one of the few species that they've ever caught on camera committing necrophilia. So it's true.
Why do you know that?
News articles, man. You look this stuff up.
You, I,
You don't have the Google alert for that?
the Google alert for which species have done
Yeah.
necrophilia.
Yeah, you didn't
Keep
see it
it.
on the dark web. Here's another argument that I had with somebody at the bar, and they were trying to tell me that like the internet is the tip of the iceberg, and that underneath the tip of the iceberg is like the dark web, and the dark web is just huge and like vast. It has more than everything, and I'm just all,
Like,
there is no way in hell that the dark web is producing more content today than the 50,000 articles on sandals that are probably going out a day for
right, yeah.
marketing companies. There's absolute, now granted, it might be the tip of the iceberg in value, but it's not in content. No way.
No, and I'll bet it isn't in value either. But that actually makes me really curious whether there are content writers for the dark web. Is there some poor blogger out there on freaking the dark web equivalent of writer's access, just jumping, hustling to churn out, 50 listicles about top 10 types of summer meth for that, that buzz.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hot,
And
hot
they're just
meth
like,
girl summer.
guy, hot meth girl summer. Exactly. It's
Right,
like,
right.
I hate this job. These products are all snake oil, except not really because it's meth. So in fact,
Right.
you are getting what you're paying for.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Made a bathtub.
Been introduced across the country, it's important to show allyship. And as always, we look to our burgers for moral guidance. Case in point, Burger King debuted a Pride Whopper with 2 equal buns, which apparently makes the burgers gay?